This is the new Nissan Leaf, and it's very different from before. But will it be as successful as the original? Keep watching, because in this review we're telling you everything you need to know. But first, this video is supported by Pod Drive, the new all-inclusive home charging subscription from Pod, designed to make powering your EV affordable and totally hassle-free. Look in the description below to find out more. Now, this is a name that carries a lot of history. The first generation Nissan Leaf was a true electric car trailblazer. It was released back in 2010 as a fully electric Golf-sized hatchback and went on to achieve huge sales success. For a long time, it was the best-selling electric car in the world. But it achieved all this at a time when electric cars were still pretty rare. Over its lifetime, the Leaf had some updates along the way to change its looks, its interior, and of course, the battery and electric motor options. And a second generation model arrived in 2018. But as the Leaf got older and the wider electric car market started bursting into life, Nissan's first EV quickly began to fall behind the new competitors that were being launched around it. And now, 15 years on from the launch of that first model, today's electric car world is pretty much unrecognizable. But the Leaf is back for a third generation, and this represents its biggest change so far. While the first model was a hatchback, this reinvention has turned it into an SUV. A fairly predictable move, because this is a much more popular body style these days. And it means this new Leaf will be a rival to things like the Kia EV3, as well as the BYD Atto 2, Renault 4, Jeep Avenger Electric, Skoda Elroq, and plenty of others. It sits on Nissan's CMF EV platform, which is used by the bigger Nissan Ariya, as well as some other Renault EVs, because of a tie-up between the two manufacturers, of course. Now, inside, the new Leaf bears no resemblance at all to the old car, which felt quite clunky towards the end of its life. In this new Leaf, as you'd expect, there are definite similarities with the Ariya. You've got a pair of 14.3-inch touchscreens, which are 12.3-inch on the entry-level trim, running a Google-based infotainment system. And it's great to see some permanently visible icons to adjust the temperature and the fan speed. But they are touch sensitive rather than physical buttons. Still, it's better to have them here within easy reach with a ledge to rest your fingers on rather than on a touchscreen, which is even more distracting to use while driving. The infotainment system itself is fine, offering sharp graphics and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard, but it could be a little quicker and more consistent in how it responds to touch inputs. The top two trims, by the way, get a fancy glass sunroof which can switch between being transparent and opaque. In the driver's seat, you don't feel especially high up in the new Leaf. The driving position is only slightly loftier than that of a regular electric car. And any sense of being raised up comes only from the seat itself feeling perched quite high up in the car. The driver's seat base seems a little short too, and lacking an under-thigh support as a result. So if you want a proper high-up electric SUV driving position, you won't find it here, and an EV3 is a better bet in that department. But the overall quality inside the Leaf is decent. You've got a nice choice of a light or dark colour scheme, and it feels more premium than the Ford Puma Gen E, and runs pretty close to the EV3. You'll find a good amount of soft touch materials on the dashboard, doors and armrests, and things feel solidly put together too. Storage is fine up front, offering decent sized door bins and some space under the central armrest. In the back, things aren't particularly spectacular, but it depends on the comparisons that you draw. Legroom is decent. There's enough of it for a 6-footer to sit behind another with decent room to spare. And while there isn't much foot space under the seat in front, it at least has a flat floor to help with middle seat foot space. If no one is sitting in the middle seat, it can be folded down to make use of an armrest with a couple of cup holders. But rear headroom is a bit tight. The same 6-footer will find their head very close to, or even pressed up against, the roof lining while sitting up straight, which isn't great. The seats themselves don't do anything clever like slide or recline either. This car's immediate rivals are also on the small side when it comes to rear seat passenger space. But while the Leaf's good legroom helps make it feel more spacious than the Jeep Avenger Electric and Renault 4, the EV3 is far roomier overall, thanks to its superior headroom. In the boot, the Leaf gives you 437 litres of space. That's down on the Skoda Elroq and EV3, but up on the Avenger Electric and Renault 4. Due to the sloping roofline, there's not much room above the parcel shelf in the Leaf, but if you really want to maximise overall storage, you can fold down the rear seats, which split folds 60/40. There isn't a ski hatch though, like there is in an Elroq. The boot itself is a usefully boxy shape and has a big opening which makes access very simple. With the standard height adjustable boot floor in its highest setting, there's not much of a loading lip at the front either. Like the Nissan Qashqai, the Leaf has a false floor split into 2 sections, which is handy if you want to divide up your items in the back or stop them rolling around. Unfortunately, there's no front boot though. And by the way, if by this point you're wondering why you're looking at me driving the Nissan Leaf but not actually talking about it,
it's because I've lost my voice and it sounds like this. Sorry.
But I still learnt lots about the new Leaf during my time with it and have a lot more to say now that I've got my voice back, particularly about the batteries. And you'll be pleased to hear that it's a fairly substantial upgrade on the 24 kilowatt-hour battery and hugely optimistic official range of 124 miles the first model had. Indeed, range is an area where the new Leaf really stands out from its rivals. The 52 kilowatt-hour version should offer an official range of around 270 miles, which is the same amount you get with an entry-level EV3, but more than what you see with the Renault 4 and entry-level L-Rock. The 75 kilowatt-hour Leaf has an official range of 386 miles, which is very impressive, and yet again, more range than you get with any version of those rivals. The bigger battery also comes with a heat pump as standard, which should help heat the interior of the car in a more efficient way in cold conditions. In terms of charging, the smaller 52 kilowatt-hour battery can charge at a maximum speed of 105 kilowatts, while the bigger 75 kilowatt-hour battery ups that to 150 kilowatts. Both batteries can manage a 20 to 80% charge in around 30 minutes. Those speeds are slightly faster than for the equivalent EV3, but nothing special. However, once again, it's an area that is a huge upgrade on the old Leaf, which could only rapid charge using a CHAdeMO connector, something that was fairly common in Nissan's home market of Japan, but as time went on and technology evolved, those connectors became far rarer in Europe. So, thankfully, the new Leaf ditches CHAdeMO and instead rapid charges using the now commonplace CCS connector. If you aren't rapid charging, the small battery takes 8.5 hours to charge from a home wall box, by the way, and it's 11.5 hours for the big battery. But what about driving? Well, all versions are front-wheel drive. The 52 kilowatt-hour battery gets a 174 brake horsepower electric motor and can officially cover 0 to 62 miles an hour in 8.3 seconds. The bigger 75 kilowatt-hour battery gets a more powerful 214 brake horsepower electric motor and covers the same sprint in a quicker 7.6 seconds. So far, we've only driven the 75 kilowatt-hour Leaf. Acceleration is certainly strong enough for everyday use on any road, and similar to what's on offer from the EV3. But overall, in terms of ride and handling, the new Leaf is fairly average. That's not to say it's terrible, but there are some really exceptional cars in this class that it's up against. So, the ride is well cushioned, you aren't subjected to harsh or uncomfortable jolts up through the suspension, but it's also rather unsettled. That means that while it's still comfortable overall, even on a flat bit of road, you can feel the car jiggling around beneath you. In terms of handling, the Leaf offers plenty of grip and accurate steering, but can suffer from body lean through corners, and a Renault 4 feels more agile, while an EV3 offers an altogether more polished ride and handling experience. A particular weak point for the Leaf is its brake pedal feel. It's very spongy and light and feels inconsistent in the way it responds to your inputs. Lots of other rivals offer a more natural brake pedal feel, which makes it easier to stop smoothly. There is though a one-pedal driving mode in the new Leaf, which means when you lift your foot off the accelerator pedal, the car will come to a complete stop. So around town, it can mean that you hardly have to use the actual brake pedal at all. There will be 4 trims to choose from: Engage, Engage Plus, Advance and Evolve. But we're yet to have a full breakdown of exactly what equipment comes with each trim. Nissan says it's usually the top 2 trims that get most of the sales, and it also anticipates the bigger battery to be the more popular choice. And how much will this all cost? Well, exact pricing hasn't been announced for the British-built Leaf, but we have been told that the smaller battery version will start at around £33,000, with the bigger battery version pushing the price up to £36,000. But that's not the end of the story, because it's highly likely that this will be one of the very few cars eligible for the full electric car grant available in the UK, which would knock £3,750 off of that price. This hasn't been officially confirmed yet, but that would make its pricing very competitive against the likes of the EV3 and even the smaller Renault 4, which also has a worse range, remember. So, the new Leaf may not be exceptional on the road, but with a likely competitive starting price and a big range on offer, this could still shake things up in the small electric SUV market. Thanks for watching this review. Click up there to see another one. Make sure you subscribe to our channel while you're at it. And to read more on the Leaf and every other car around, click on that link to go to whatcar.com.